Hello, I'm Aaron Standberry. This is my wife Dawn. Today we're going to talk about the story isn't over from Mark chapter 15, verse 46. Joseph brought a long sheet of linen cloth and took Jesus down from the cross, wrapped him in the cloth, and then laid him in the tomb that was carved from the rock. Then he rolled a stone over the front entrance.
And so once again, we're going to talk about the story isn't over. See, back in 2008, I went for my annual mammogram. And so after the examination, the doctor had said that they found something in my right breast and it might be cancer. So what they did, they went ahead and set up an appointment with another doctor in Ocean Springs to do a biopsy. So on the day when I was going to have my biopsy done, my heart was a little troubled. But the word of the Lord came to me and said, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you." And that's in John chapter 14, verse 1 and 27. So maybe around a week later, I went for my follow-up appointment, and the doctor told me that my right breast do have cancer. And so while he was talking to me, I was praying in the spirit. Now I was listening. Now afterwards he said, "Miss Standberry, did you hear me? And do you understand what I had said?" And I said, "Yes." But see, the doctor was not convinced. So he asked the nurse to go ahead and check my blood pressure. When she checked my blood pressure, he was a little puzzled because my blood pressure was excellent. Now during this time, I stayed in the Word, I stayed positive. But at the same time, I was being bombarded with a lot of negative thoughts. That to the point, my thoughts start planning my funeral. I was asking myself, well, who's going to take care of my husband? Who's going to take care of my children? And these thoughts went on and on. That to the point, I started looking around at some single ladies in the church. And I started looking at maybe they could be a good wife for my husband, a good mother for my children. But at the same time, the story is not over with yet. Then I read in Psalms 118, verse 17, "I shall not die, but live and declare the work of the Lord." And at that moment, I stood on the word of God, and I shouted out in my living room, "I shall live, and I will not die. I will be a wife to my husband. I will be a mother to my children, and another will not take my place. I will declare the works of the Lord." Now I had my surgery and everything went fine. And then afterwards I went for my follow-up examination. But at that time I was told that the surgeon was unable to remove all of the cancer. So they have to go back in again. Now after I left the doctor, I was walking through Keesler Medical Center. And then all of a sudden this song of praise rose up in my heart. And I start singing, "I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my Lord, rejoice. Take hold, my King, to what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ears." But right after that, the enemy came back and said, "What do you mean you love the Lord? Did you not hear what the doctor said?" And from that point, I start singing some more. But as you can see, the story was not over, because I am here today to declare the work of the Lord. And because of this right here, I looked at that word cancer, and I broke it into two. So the word can actually means the ability, the power to do. I was looking at Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthened me. I was looking at the word CER, C-E-R. Now in the British dictionary, it is abbreviated for something I'm not going to share, but also it means a trade agreement. So when I was looking at that word agreement, I thought about when we take the Lord's Supper. And because Jesus said, this cup represents my blood that was shed for many. And it also represents the covenant between God and his people. Now, Galatians had said, now since we belong to Christ, therefore we are Abraham's seed and heir according to the promise. So the word covenant in the Greek also means an agreement. So when we look at all the promises of God, it means yes and amen. And one of the covenant, one of the agreements that Jesus had said, lo, I am with you always, even until the end of the world. But then I went back to the definition, and once again, it means trade agreement. So I start thinking about how we need to make an agreement with the Lord. And I thought about this song. I'm trading my sickness. I'm trading my pain. And I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. I am pressed, but I'm not crushed. Persecuted, not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. I am blessed beyond the curse, for his promise will endure. In his joy, going to be my strength. And may I say, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Though the sorrow may last for the night, but his joy will come in the morning. See, the thing is, this is my story, but you have a story too. And as the word has said, the story is not over with yet. So I pray that you was encouraged by this story. And so now I'm getting ready to turn it over to my husband to close us out.
You know, in the beginning, God told us to be fruitful and multiply. In that process, you have to take a seed and put it in the ground. Jesus said in Mark 4 that a grain of the seed of mustard seed, when put into the ground, is lesser than all the other mustard seeds on earth. But then when it sprang forth, it sprouted branches and leaves and everything, so that the fowls of the sky can come and take refuge in it. That's how I feel about Mark 15:46. I feel that when Jesus was placed in that tomb, he was placed there in order to activate all of the things that he had acquired for us. So that now he has broke through, after the 3 days, he's broken through and has become that giant oak tree, that mustard seed tree, that now is covering and protecting us from all evil. So therefore, on this day and this time, I think about Jesus as being our protector from the evil one, to keep us all the time. Thank you.